species is the only species that have a leader who is unstable. If you look at other species, the leader is always the most stable because it's always been this way. Like they'll share, I listen. But when I share, there's no response. It's like I'm talking to the wall and then they just look at me and change the subject.
Yeah, it's like you're working in a mental hospital or something. Right, and then you must know how to handle all these crazy people. Yeah.
Let's talk about
Silent aggression among women. Yeah. Or rather, it always comes from women. Like I've never actually experienced, unless it's like, okay, there's something bad happened, okay, then of course. But I think with women who don't know each other very well, or even if they do but they don't like each other for whatever reason, there's always this undercurrent of competition and envy and distrust. Yeah, there's this sense of, I don't think you're going to be my friend kind of thing. Yeah.
There is like in their presence, you don't feel safe. You feel almost like, there is a term in Jung psychology called the devouring mother. It's that energy, the devouring mother energy.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so the devouring mother energy usually, obviously it's mother-daughter relationship, right? Where the devouring mother, for whatever reason, insecure, so she projects onto her children, right? And make them small. So there are women out there with this aggression. They will project this onto not even their own children, to other people. Like, it's like, whoa, like what is that? And I'm sure you felt this quite a bit when you were younger, like from people in the workspace or people in...
I've been very, very blessed in my work, in my workspace, that, I don't know, the women, work mostly were women, no, even the ones who were quite a bit older, like maybe 10 years or more older than I was quite real and quite, they're very particular about work, but as friends, one-on-one, personal, very chill. Yeah, I don't understand. Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah.
It's nice.
So I have never experienced it at work.
Okay.
I sure hope I didn't project that on other people. I like to think that no, I'm not a mother type to begin with. So I don't know. Yeah. It's like mother always has this image of dominance. Yeah, so I'm not the sort that needs to dominate or dominate a conversation or be in the center of attention. So no work, no, but certain social circles, yes, I have experienced it, and it's strange. And the funny thing is, I experience it most in church circles.
I'm not surprised.
Not among my school friends who I've kept in touch with, not from my colleagues or ex-colleagues, or just people I met socially, and I've become friends with them.
Yeah,
it's very weird, and I always struggle with that, because it's like, why like that? Shouldn't it be the other way around? Shouldn't it be affirming and nurturing and Christ-like, whereas in the secular world, so to speak, people don't think about like affirmation or, it's like, you do you, I do me, I'm not happy, you will know, I'll make it known. But no, people are a lot nicer out there.
I have I don't know, an idea about this. Like, why is it within spiritual circles, people tend to be not as nice as the people not in spiritual circles. I feel like when you are in a spiritual circle, whether it's religious, in a church or in a temple or whatever, there is a lot of light, there's a lot of love. And that light has a tendency to throw light into the darkest parts of us. So the shadow energy tends to creep up.
That's a great
Yeah.
revelation.
So when the shadow energy creeps up, they struggle internally to try to show up like the mask, right? They want to appear as spiritual or whatever, right? So, but the mask is like, slipping off, right? But then they're trying to like pull it back up. And so it comes across in strangest ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of backhanded compliments.
Yes.
Yeah, and or very begrudging kind of behavior, or
Yes.
just silence as in I don't support you kind of silence.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, I experienced that a lot in
Yeah.
a particular community,
Yeah.
and I left. Yeah, I
Mm.
left it because I really felt I didn't belong. Yeah, this is not the kind of community that I would thrive in. I wasn't growing spiritually
Yeah.
there. It got me to a certain point when I
Yeah.
was like ground zero. It was very good for me because I had nothing to compare it
Yeah.
with, or I had no foundation, no strong foundation. Yeah, so up to a point, it became very thin. The spirituality seemed very thin to me, and there was just a lot
Yeah.
of drama,
Yeah.
relationship drama, and I don't even mean like romantic relation. It's just like people
Yeah.
relations. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I wasn't like in opposition with anyone in particular, and I wasn't
Yeah.
in any clique. So I guess I saw it even more. I
Yeah.
was kind of like a fly on the wall,
Mm.
and it really bothered me.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
took my leave. Yeah.
Yeah. I think in spiritual circles, right, we have the outer level, that means the superficial level where everybody goes and they do the activities, they attend the service, or they do whatever, right? So this is the superficial spirituality. So they have not gone deeper into learning or to the real practice,
Mm,
right? As you go deeper and deeper and deeper, you find that they get more real.
mm,
They get more real as in very authentic. They're nice. The true self comes up in a lovely way, right? So they're unconditionally loving. It's always the people on the fringe, right? That is like to me it's like they're parading their spirituality, but they're not really practicing. They don't
mm,
really know what it means to
mm,
be
mm,
spiritual.
mm.
They only know it by intellectually, but
Right,
not in the experience. And
right.
so that's why all these, uh,
Problems. Yeah,
fringe participants will
yeah.
always have this kind of, but as you go deeper, I find that you meet different quality people,
Mm,
right?
mm. Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that, my experience is like that, when it comes to um yeah,
Yeah.
whether there is depth, in the
Yeah.
connection or not. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like in in other spiritual circles, it's like no lah, no drama lah. Okay lah. Sometimes we disagree, and then we just say, and then it's gone. It's really
Yeah.
gone. After
Yeah.
that, there's no grudge,
Yeah.
and I don't know why certain ones are the other way around. And it's always the women.
Mm.
The men are actually quite lovely.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
They don't gossip. Or maybe they do, I don't know, but
Mm.
there's no click.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I
yeah.
find that with when it comes to those silent aggression, sometimes it comes across very odd, especially with people, like people who are supposed to be your good friends. And then you start to wonder, like, oh, I thought that, our connection or like whatever we share uh really deserves more attention or more time, right? And then you realize that, oh, it's just one way.
Mm,
I think I've spoken to you about this, right?
mm,
Where
mm,
I've shared things with friends because it's always been this way. Like they'll share, I listen. But when I share, there's no response. It's like I'm talking to the wall and then they just look at me and change the subject, and then it goes like, okay, it shows me where I stand in the whole dynamics, and I know that, okay, this is not a two-way relationship. I'm not going to put my energy in it anymore. Yeah. It's just quite, to me, that's aggression, even though, it is not,
nothing physical, nothing violent in that sense.
nothing.
But it's just
I think sometimes
very micro.
Yeah, and sometimes it's worse because there's no energy in it. Like they don't even care. Like you share something and you do expect some kind of a, I mean, in communication, it's a two-way thing, right? I mean, if you don't
Some
want to listen to what,
response.
if you don't want to listen to what I say, then tell me,
Yeah.
like, I'm really not interested in what you're, at least I know. But if you just keep silent, as though I did not say a thing and then change the subject, it just goes like, oh
It's
my
like,
God,
and canceling someone, as they say, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's,
But why do you think women have this complex? I mean, it's called mother for a reason. It seems to affect women, right?
Yeah. I think a lot of it comes from insecurity or their own impatience. Like it depends on where they come from, right? Internally. Like if their inner landscape is not fulfilled, they're not gonna be able to hold space for you, right? And so they get agitated, they get irritated, like, why are you sharing this with me? Or if they feel insecure and they see someone who is younger, prettier, more successful, more popular, then they have this very snarky remarks, right? Trying to like, oh, you better watch it, you're gonna lose it, or like, what?
Yeah. Or I observe it being done on newcomers, especially. Newcomers who are women, obviously. So there's no welcome, there's no authentic warmth in including them. It's like, okay, newbie, new blood. It's like almost like I'm gonna suss you out. And then we will talk about, whatever, like, you better hope you don't do something scandalous or say something, that we can gossip about. There's almost that sort of energy. And I hear it as a third party too, about new people. So when I left, I'm no longer with them, but I'm friends with some. I mean, they're not all awful. I mean, there were nice people too. So I've remained friends with a few of them, and I do hear like them talking about new people, and then I'm like, hey, come on, you guys, like, don't do that. It's like the things that we were upset about. If you're not clear in telling the new people what are the guidelines, say, for sharing or whatever, then you're not gonna know, and then you'll just silently judge that person. That's very bad. And then that person feels judged, and it's such a cold response from everyone. They'll never come back. Then how that's fail for everyone. That's fail for Jesus too. Nobody wins, right?
I think maybe, the silent aggression also comes from women not being able or not knowing how to communicate. I think that's quite a big part because maybe culturally, across the board, right? I mean, it doesn't matter where we come from. Culturally, as women, we're not encouraged to speak up. And so the speaking up becomes the look you give each other.
Yes. And the whispers after that behind that person's back.
And not saying what you want to say.
Correct.
it's just very toxic behavior.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. As opposed to maybe for men, they just say lah, and then that's it, lor, forget about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. So when they were talking about someone who was new and didn't know the guidelines of sharing, and I'm like, my question was, did you all tell her? Did your leader express to her before the sharing, this is the guideline? No. Then I said, sorry.
It's not fair. Yeah.
Yeah, all of your fault, your leader's fault too. And then one of them said, I wanted to. Then I said, you should have just said it. And that person said, but I'm not the leader. I'm like
Yeah.
everyone's so afraid to be the victim
Yeah.
of gossip.
Yeah.
Like, oh, do you know that this person spoke up and she's not even the leader?
Yeah.
Like they're even thinking of things like
Yeah.
that. Like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, who cares? Talk lah, talk
Yeah.
about me. I don't care. Yeah, at least I said something straight, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I think women tend to overthink things as well until it becomes a monster. It becomes this thing, right?
Yeah.
Where they are fighting.
Their life
It's like
on its own.
invisible enemy at the
Yeah.
end of the day. It's not even a real thing,
Correct.
Yeah. But it gets that way. I think women in general, I mean, but I have to say it has changed, right? The younger generation, they do say what they want to say. We don't know. I mean, this is an interesting one to ask the younger generation whether they get the aggression, silent aggression
Yeah.
from older women they interact with, like people our age.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whether I'm not sure whether Gen X have a tendency to do that because we grew up during a time
Could
where
be.
we had to deal with the
Could be.
silent
Yeah.
aggressive women from maybe the boomers, right? So a bit different. I'm not sure.
Apparently, we are the most aggressive of that the older generation, because the boomers are very nurturing. They are the non-devouring mothers. They are the mothers who will the pandering mothers. They will just spoil all the brats out there, whereas for us, it's like, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you could be right. Yeah. That
Be interesting
it's that
to
it's that
see.
age group.
Yeah. So the younger group, I think they are quite. They don't. I don't think they hold back. It is not a matter of whether it's a cultural indoctrination or whether you're male or female anymore. It's more about the personality. Whether you're a boy or girl, if you're a Gen Z, it depends on your personality, whether
Yeah.
you're
Very
more,
individual, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
whether you're introvert, then maybe you won't speak up,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
by and large, I feel they dare to say, and that's why we have, these so-called social problems, right? Like you read in the news where the younger generation will not give up their seat for the older folks, right? And they say, but I'm also tired, like for them, it's like, I also have a right, I'm also tired, or then how? I cannot sit, right, on the public transport, right?
Yeah,
So,
it's true, yeah.
yeah,
Which is not wrong. I mean, if I'm older but I'm not tired, I can stand. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But I don't know, maybe I I prefer to look at it as like how appropriate, like if you are young and you're trying to snatch a seat from someone who can barely stand, then that's
Context,
not right.
yeah, it's based on the context of the situation.
Yeah, and it's just not right. You can't just say
Correct.
I'm tired, but then
Correct. Yeah, but you can still stand and be fine. Yeah,
exactly,
yeah. It's
exactly.
all situational, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So, I think Gen Z can also go the extreme. I
Mm,
feel
mm,
like they are too vocal, you
mm,
know.
mm.
I'm not sure whether you read the news about this transgender person recently who injured security at MRT station.
Like punch the security or
Pushed her,
attack?
and I think the security guard was much older,
Oh,
and
so
she was
woman security guard.
she was
Okay.
just doing her job, right?
Sure.
Because they do pick
Sure.
people randomly to check the bags.
Sure. Okay.
Somehow this transgender person got picked
Oh.
And then it spiraled out of control because this person said that
you have no right to check my bag, is it?
no, this person said that the security guard didn't do her training well because she doesn't know how to de-escalate the situation, knowing that knowing that she's already so emotional and that the security guard was still demanding to check the bag. And you know what this person did? When the security asked for the bag to be checked, she threw the bag on the floor and said, "You check, pick it up and check." So with that kind of behavior, there's an expectation for the older security guard to pick up the bag and check. And of course, the security is going to say, "No, it's your bag. You need to pick it up," you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So it gets a bit...
right. Then
I
it
think
just got worse.
it just got worse. And then she blamed the
Oh my.
security for not knowing how to de-escalate. Like, the self-responsibility is gone.
Totally
It's like,
delusional, right?
yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah. So there are also situations like this
Yeah.
where it's so
No,
extreme
that's
where
ridiculous.
there's this sense of entitlement.
Yes, yes.
Like, oh, this is how I behave, then you must change
Yeah, you
your
deal with
tactic
it.
and how you handle me. Like,
Correct.
huh?
Yeah, it's like you're working in a mental hospital or something. Right, and then you must know how to handle all these crazy people. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not
exactly.
fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and I do find that this aggression is also stems from being competitive.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, somehow, yeah, there's this
Yeah.
one-upmanship, this need for I must appear better than you. I
Yes.
must have more friends who are, more popular or influential or appearing more spiritual. Yeah,
Yeah.
even there's this spiritual competition.
Yes, yes, yes,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yes, yes.
And then they will like sometimes post things on group chat to say, "Oh, I'm going for this." Like, "Oh, y'all should go too." It's like,
I've been on the other end. Okay, like, how long ago was this? Maybe about less than 10 years ago. I received a message on Facebook from this person that said that in year whatever, this is like more than 20 over years ago, that I met her in the
okay,
US, right?
okay,
She said, in this year, we were at this event and you looked at me up and down and you were judging me, right?
wow.
And I want you to know that I'm now a successful author and blah, 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 right? So I look at the photo, I'm like, who is this? I don't even know who
You
this
don't even remember,
person...
I'm sure. Or it's not even someone you know.
It's someone later on, like I thought about it, like, who is this person, right? So I went through her Facebook to see,
Yeah.
so, okay, very familiar. And then I remember that I met her very briefly. We were both volunteers. We were both young,
Okay,
right? This
okay.
was like even before I got married, right? And we were at the event together, and then for some reason she thought I was judging her. I don't even know what she does. I don't even know her name. Like, how on earth, right? And she said from the way I look at her, she knew I was judging. Like, how do you know what's going on in my mind? I don't even know you, right? I just found that very odd. And then years later, she sent me this message, like, to
Yeah,
tell me,
that's
like,
the crazier part. I mean, think that people are giving you a look, maybe sometimes we are mistaken.
yeah,
But to hold that as a grudge for so
yes,
long.
yes. And then I thought to myself, okay, maybe it's done its part, inspired her to go and be an author or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe
Good
that
for
was your
her.
job. Yeah.
But I have no idea.
Okay. Did you tell her, I have no idea who you are? That would have been a bigger blow.
I just did not respond.
Oh dear,
I
so
just I
ridiculous.
just thought, okay, I'm not gonna respond to this. It's just ridiculous. Yeah. Yeah. I thought this is...
Sometimes it's people wanting certain people to accept them, and when there is no acknowledgement because there's no interaction, like you say, then they see it as a slight,
Yeah,
Yeah,
it could
yeah,
be.
because they yearn for that connection, and
It
when
could
there
be.
isn't, then they throw it back at you and say you're mean to me. Yeah.
Yeah. But we were both volunteers. I'm not even a I'm not even a leader.
Leaders is now such a dirty word, right? You have a resting bitch face, as they say.
Yes, could be.
Maybe that's why. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's just so funny.
all she needed to do was to talk to you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And she would have known that, oh, it's all in my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this is women, right? Because
Yeah.
we've not been taught to communicate properly.
And so afraid to make mistakes.
Yeah.
So afraid to be the one that people talk about or blame, so afraid to be blamed, to be the bad person, to be the unpopular person. Like, why? What?
Yeah.
This is not concentration camp. You're not gonna get shot on the firing squad or whatever. Yeah. Even so, you should tell the truth.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, but it's like, oh no, I'm very scared. But then behind the person's back, it's like,
Yeah. I think that's the thing that I have very low tolerance about, like when someone is angry about a situation or a person, instead of confronting the person and talking about it, they gossip, right?
Yeah.
And then I usually go like, do you even tell the person?
Yes.
Like I
Yeah.
have very low tolerance for that. And I cannot, when conversations go that way, like I'm like,
Yeah. Or like just have a trashing out. If in the end it doesn't work out, so be it. Everybody is at peace. We go our separate ways. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if it survives it, then
Yeah.
this friendship is real. It can survive things like that. Yeah. But it just throws a lot of good light, right? In the situation and in people. Yeah.
And if we don't communicate properly, it gets very muddy.
Yes.
Because then there is your
misunderstanding.
projection, other people's input,
Yes.
all kinds of
Yes. And
things.
people will start taking sides.
Yeah.
Inevitably, the person who's closer to you will take your side. The person closer to that person will take. Then everybody is like fractured.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's so horrible. And there's this tension. Like I've seen, since the time I joined this particular community until I left, I've seen cliques like, at first you blur, right? You don't know who's friends with who, whatever. Then slowly, of course, you get to know, okay, these are the cliques, okay? And then this one don't like this one, whatever. You learn the politics. And up to the point where I left, or maybe just after, the dynamics changed again. Like the people who were friends were no longer friends anymore. And that made me actually very sad, because it's like, oh my gosh, like at least you all were a clique. I mean, at least, you had each other's back. Even if you didn't like the others, this was real. But apparently, it's not even.
Oh,
And I
dear.
felt so sad for
Yeah.
them. And I would occasionally tell one of them, whom I'm still friends with, that, why don't you talk to her, talk to them, it's like, cannot be, right? Y'all were such good friends. Like, but no, there is no desire to, which I find very weird, because if let's say you and I have some falling out, I would want to know why. I would want to, try and see if we can patch things up. You know what I mean? Like, why would you not? And these are people who have traveled together. They've done everything together. They just go out for fun together, exercise together. Yeah.
So that's a certain level of closeness.
Yes.
And to let that just.
Yeah. And a very regular kind of getting together. Not just like once in a while. No, it's really regular. Yeah. And very, very tight. So
are they still in the same community? Do they still see each other? Oh, isn't that awkward? Wow.
Yeah. So that always I don't know. I always feel that talking things out in the end will be better, whether it goes this way or that way. Because at the end, you will know,
Yeah.
and that will give you peace, and then you
Yeah.
can move on. And
Yeah.
knowing that you've done your best, don't need to think about it anymore. Yeah,
Yeah. 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 Yeah, that's a shame when that happens. I mean, if they're not close friends, okay, I can see the
yes,
rationale, like, okay, don't
correct,
bother.
correct.
Yeah.
I totally understand. Yeah,
Yeah.
but no, this is close. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So
Wow.
it's almost like if I make the first move, I'm seen as the one who is more desperate. I don't know.
Oh no, yeah.
Yeah. Like sorry seems to be the hardest word, right? Isn't it?
Yeah. And this is
Um,
in a church
I
community.
I know. Like we're always talking about forgiveness. That's what we struggle with our whole lives. And have we not learned
Yeah.
anything? Yeah,
Yeah. That's sad. Yeah.
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 So it's, I mean, for people who are new, it's very disillusioning. Yeah.
Mm. Mm.
So it's
Yeah,
okay
I can
lah.
see why.
Whatever lah.
Yeah. Mm.
They are not children, so
Yeah, exactly. At the end of the day,
yeah, they know what they're
people,
doing. Yeah.
yeah. Or they don't know what they're doing,
Or
but
they don't
that's
know what they're doing.
fine. That's fine.
Yeah, it's okay lah. Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
sure.
But you know, in the world that we live in, there are far too, I think there are more people who are emotionally immature than emotionally mature people. Unfortunately, that's why the world is so chaotic, right? I mean,
Yes.
all the wars and
Yes.
all the, if you
Yes.
look at the
Yeah.
politics, you look
Yeah.
at
It's very
how,
disordered. Yeah.
yeah, you look at how politicians talk about each other in whatever country, it really doesn't matter, right? The pattern is the same.
Yeah.
There is a complete lack of emotional maturity.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's why we have wars.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
It's really
know?
like the children's playroom,
Yeah.
snatching for toys.
Yes.
Yeah. And fighting, just beating each other up.
And don't know how to
Yeah.
communicate.
Yeah. Don't know how to say sorry.
Yeah.
If I'm
It-
bigger and I'm stronger, I will just beat you, I'll punch you, I'll kick you.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's their way of communicating. You know, they are trying to communicate,
Yes.
just not the right way and in a way
Yes.
that's so destructive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
any politicians you see in any part of the world, Singapore included, right? You can see, like, oh my
Yeah.
god, you know, this person is so emotionally immature. You can just, you know, the
And
things they say, the things how they behave. You just like, oh, no wonder.
and these are the people running the
Yeah,
countries. That's very scary.
yeah. There is a quote. I'm not sure who said it. I don't have the exact words too, but the human species is the only species that have a leader who is unstable. If you look at other species, the leader is always the most
That's true.
stable.
Well, okay, except maybe for my household because my alpha cat is a bit of a psycho. But she does protect the house. So
Mm,
when it comes to the crunch, everyone will hide. She'll be at the door hissing.
wow.
Yeah. So okay, I give her that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, but
Oh,
when
but
it
yeah, you're right. No. Like for you, do you face a lot of it, or did you face a lot of it at work,
yeah, I
in your
did.
work circles?
I did.
Mm,
Because I was a very young business owner, right? When, you know,
mm,
started business
mm,
in my early 20s, and then having to meet other people who are in the business a lot longer. I mean, there were really
mm.
nice people who, you know, uh, they try and guide and all that, which is nice, you know, like sort of like a mentorship, but unofficial mentorship. I've never
Yeah,
met them, you know, sometimes
yeah,
on the phone, they give
yeah.
advice. But there are those that I've met like at events and yeah, just very snarky, you know, look at you up and down, judge how you look, criticize how you're dressing, that sort of a thing. And I also have relatives who are like that. You know, the older, the aunties,
Mm, mm,
always the
mm.
snarky remark. And then you have to play politics, with them.
Yeah.
You just play along and you make it into a joke. Don't take it seriously, even though you know the intent is less than kind.
Yeah.
But you just have to play the politics sometimes because it's just very strange dynamics, So now that I'm the older woman, right, I'm very conscious that I do not put anyone down. Like, I meet a lot of young business owners now, like women, and I would, if I can, just encourage them, ask them questions, be interested in what they do, make conversations, be friendly, that sort of thing. And not, especially in my building, right? There are a lot of young women. They're living on their own. Some are local, some are not.
Okay.
And when I first moved in, it was a big culture shock in the sense that nobody talked to anybody. Nobody says hi at the lift lobby. It's a very small building, so chances of bumping into each other is very, very high.
Right.
And so I thought that's very strange. Like, why don't people? I mean, I see you more than once. We know we live in a city, but why can't we just say hi or good morning?
Hello. Yeah.
And so I make it a point to say it, especially the younger ones. And so now they are much more like open. They'll say hi, and amongst themselves, I don't know whether they interact. I have found interestingly, I found women our age friendly. Like we see each other, we'll say hi.
Okay.
We don't know our names, but it doesn't matter. We say hi, we acknowledge, right?
Yeah.
But the younger ones, those in their 20s or early 30s, they just look down on their phones, But I made it a point to say hi to them and talk to them. And now they see me, they will say hi.
They will acknowledge.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
So,
nice.
I just feel like as someone who's older, I need to set the better example. Rather than
I think that's the right way, the right philosophy. You're supposed to be wiser, right? Anyway, so you have more experience in life, and so make the first move. Set the tone. Correct.
Which is very different from our parents' generation.
Yeah,
or at least from my father's perspective. Like, the older people don't make the first move. Right? That's how
it's like respect. You have to respect your elders in the sense that you serve them. You say hello first. Right? You acknowledge their presence first. I have an aunt who in her in her younger days, she was like that, quite a devouring mother. She wasn't a mother, ironically, but she would devour her nieces. It's almost like I always thought she was a bit envious of my mom and my other aunts who had children, who had us, right? And she didn't, so she kind of took it out on us. I felt and because like I thought my mom was always so nice, like your mom, it's very warm to everyone, welcoming, never a hurtful word for anyone. And then my other aunt also, but this one would always comment on us. So as we grew older, me and this other cousin of mine, we would sometimes talk about like, hey, like we didn't even realize at first that she was doing it to us. We kept thinking it's just me, and she kept thinking it's just her. Until one fine day when we were adults, like quite grown up already, then we realized that, oh no, you're not the only one. I'm not the only one. It became like a solidarity thing, no? It's so weird. Like she'll comment that, oh, you put on weight. That's like her favorite. Or, oh, like, hey, why you wear this? Like, where you going after this? Going to party again. You going to party, is it? Going to drink, is it? This very like the disapproving attitude. I got that from her so much.
Is this your mom's sister?
My mom's sister, So up to a point, like now she's very different because she's much older and she's quite doddering now. And actually our dynamics have changed. So she no longer makes all these snarky comments towards me, because I used to just like shoot it back at her in front of everybody. I don't care. Yeah. And now she's always like much nicer. And I feel that she has genuinely changed. Yeah. She is a very staunch Buddhist. So she really tries to practice this, peace and harmony and be kind, be giving. So our relationship has improved a lot now. Yeah. Like
That's
now,
nice.
for no reason, I would say, hey, let's have lunch. And,
Okay.
I can have a proper conversation with her without wanting to throttle her. It's quite amazing, because I never expected we would even get here.
Ah.
Yeah, because she was always the one that would trigger me every Chinese New Year, every Christmas. Whenever I see her, it will be something that will make me so mad. And then I'll complain to my mom, and then my mom said, "Yeah, never mind lah. Oh, she's your aunt, just forgive her, And I'm always
Yeah.
like, oh, your sister. I don't like her, Yeah. Yeah. So I got that from this aunt. Um, Funnily enough, I experienced it a little bit in school, when in JC, before I met you guys.
Okay.
And I was with the other
Yeah.
batch. Yeah.
Yeah.
And and the funny thing is, I told you I went for a reunion recently, right? My year, 84, 85. And it was like the same feeling all over again. It's so weird. Yeah. And
So nothing changed in a
nothing
way.
changed.
Wow.
They were just the same girls, just middle-aged women,
Oh my God.
but with the same attitude and the
Oh
same
my
energy. It was
God.
so weird. And the nice ones were still nice. They still had the same lovely energy, and I remembered that those were the nice ones.
Yeah.
Immediately you feel that, oh, this is home, this is safe.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I told one of a very, very close friend of mine, we were both like feeling like that, and that's how we kind of got together and became friends, and we're still friends to this day, and we're actually very close. I said, I told her, I would not have survived these 2 years without you. I
Oh,
was so lonely. I told her that
wow.
that night. I told her. I never told her that, no, until now, 40 years later. And she was like so touched. She almost cried. She's like, I know the feeling. Me too. And I said,
Wow.
nothing has changed, right? And she said, yeah. I'm like, why did we even bother? Look up. Like,
It's just
yeah,
so weird, right?
yeah. But Rita,
Mm.
yeah. And the
Mm.
ones who have always been real and genuine, and there's still very good energy. Yeah.
Mm.
And the ones who judged you before, they'll judge you even more
Yeah.
now. It's
The
strange.
politics of life, isn't it?
Yeah.
Politics amongst women.
And it's always women.
Mm.
I don't experience it with men. I really, really don't. Yeah.
I have experienced it with men who, upon observation, I know, I mean, they have a lot of hang-ups. And that's why they become very snarky, become very
Mm.
critical,
Mm.
and especially
Chauvinistic.
if as a woman, if I'm put in a leadership position and I run the house, so to speak, and
Right.
I decide what rules to implement,
Yeah.
that doesn't go down well with some men.
Sure.
But in general, I find that most men in Singapore, like business owners, they're very respectful
Okay.
of female leaders. Like they have
Okay.
no issue. But there are
Okay.
some with their own personal hang-ups,
I'm
right?
sure.
They go like, it's just so bizarre behavior they will have. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe it's where they come from as well. I find this thing about equality between male and female um, in Singapore is pretty okay. We don't have
Yeah.
that much of a problem. But
Yeah.
I think in the West, it can be a problem.
Yeah.
So some of these people who had problems with me were, from the West.
Ah,
Yeah.
I see.
So very interesting, right?
Okay.
The the dynamics. Yeah. So I'll get very criticisms when I don't even really know them, or snarky comments when they don't bother to find out. So they behave like the women that we talk about. Like they don't find out the truth, they jump into conclusion, they just make up their own stories, that sort of a thing. Yeah. Well, I hope that, there's less of this competition amongst women.
Yeah.
I think a lot of good intentioned women groups always say they don't want any of these, bad blood between women. But then inevitably it will surface because they have not worked on their own internal stuff. It will surface. Yeah. I was invited to a women's networking group, and I said no thanks. I know how the dynamics is gonna be like, and I'm like, no, because knowing how women are, if they have not worked through their stuff, if there's no depth in their internal world, or they work through their issues, it's just gonna be like another gossip club or whatever, it gets messy lah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think women should just know and believe that we're not all out to get each other. There's enough whatever you want to achieve out there to be achieved for everyone if you want it. Yeah. And it's not always about success also. It's about connection and relationship. I think those are more enduring than success in whatever area.
Yeah, and also, different people have different idea of what success is. Like, to them, success is to have 100,000 followers or whatever, right? To me, that's not success. To me, it's like a connection, genuine connection.
Correct.
And service. That for me is more than something else like they may have in their mind.
Yeah. And learning from each other. We always forget that, we have so much to teach each other.
Yeah, we do. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that part about light, showing up shadows. And that makes everything so clear now. And it makes sense.
Right?
It makes sense. So on the other hand, it's actually very good that it cannot hide. So then don't hide. Let's work through our shadows, right?
Yeah. It can't hide from other people, but they can't see it still within themselves. That's the unfortunate thing. Until they crash lah, So.
And then there's always this false healing. Where, we always try to have a retreat, and then we always try to theme it healing. And then there's always like some washing of feet and like going through the motion of forgiveness and accepting forgiveness. There's all these false group hugs. Always like, y'all are gonna go back and like
exactly
the same way.
Exactly.
Oh well.
We just have to remind ourselves to
be self-aware. Yes. All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah, this was a good conversation. I enjoyed it.